Okay, we're all set.
All right. Then you can just look at me, and then if
Yep.
you paraphrase what I say in the question, because they won't hear my voice in it. So.
Okay, great.
So we're nearing completion phase one of the 1060 project. Can you just describe the feeling that you have on seeing the progress?
Well, as we near the end of phase one, it's just great to see all the progress. I mean, the fact is that no matter where you look, I think we've done a nice job so far. We've got the bleachers are very popular with our bleacher fans. The video boards are extremely popular with all of our fans. You see what's going on outside the park. You see basically the skeleton of the new office building, which we desperately need. So I think phase one is just it's been a great success.
Has this met expectations that you've had so far in terms of, is it but more than you thought it was going to be, better than expected, or are there any shortfalls that you'd like to discuss?
Well, with regard to expectations, I think we're getting there. I mean, there's always a few surprises, and we had a couple of those early in the season. But in general, I think it's moving forward, and we're just feels great to see all the progress.
From a business perspective, seeing the team perform so well earlier than a lot of people expected, how does that raise the interest level and bringing partners to the plaza area, getting people generally excited about what's going to happen here?
Well, it's fascinating and very interesting. Well, let's start over. I think one of the most interesting parts of this entire project is how the team on the field and the field itself are kind of coming together at the same time. I mean, we've always talked about that as kind of part of a larger strategy, but to see the ballpark after all these years getting the attention it needs to become the best in the game, and the team itself after all these years getting all the attention they need to be one of the best teams in the game. It's great how they're on parallel tracks, and I think that that's not lost on anyone. Let me try that again. You want me to do that one again?
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, that was good because that's kind of like what the whole documentary is going to be about, where the team and the business kind of meet.
Why don't you do that answer again?
Let's do that.
I think one of the most fascinating parts of the project is, let me grab my phone and turn it off. Oh, Rays infielder Logan Forsythe was named AL Player of the Week.
We should stop this interview and celebrate.
Yeah, I got to run. I got to go call Logan. Turn this off. You guys ready?
All set. Yep.
I mean, I think that one of the most striking aspects of this project is the parallels between what's happening on the field with the team and what's happening to the field at the ballpark. So, I mean, we're talking about getting near the end of phase one with the redevelopment of Wrigley. You're also seeing what is really the first few steps in the building of a foundation for the team on the field. And those parallels aren't lost on anybody.
Are you seeing, in terms of partners for the plaza, people kind of the interest level in getting involved? Are you seeing general tick up with the success of the team?
Well, I think that the development of the ballpark is exciting for the fans, obviously. It's exciting for the players, obviously. And it's also pretty exciting for a lot of our corporate partners. I mean, they're seeing that not only do we have a better team on the field, we've got a better ballpark, and they're getting very excited. So we've been able to make some great progress on that front also.
Is there a different feeling when you, well, I'm sure there is. Describe maybe the different feeling that you have coming to the ballpark this year as opposed to a couple of years previous.
Well, I mean, in terms of the feeling at the ballpark this year, it is different. And as everyone knows, I walk around every game, talk to dozens of, if not more people every single game. you know, there was a day where I felt like my job was to hold people in the boat. I mean, just to tell them, hey, there is a plan. Just be patient with us. We promise we're making smart decisions. We're moving forward. And everyone had to kind of trust. And on the field, you're seeing that trust pay off. We also had the same story with the ballpark. I mean, we had to say, look, I know you don't want us to change anything, but I promise you these changes will improve the ballpark. And with the end of phase one, people are starting to trust us. I think they're trusting that the management team here is making good decisions about how to improve the ballpark, not just the ball team.
How have the fans responded to the big addition this year inside the ballpark, which is the video board?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously I walk around the park every game, and people, this year the conversation has been dominated by how much people like the video boards. You know, there was a period of time a few years ago where people, when they were surveyed, they'd say, well, I'm not sure if I want those. Over time, more and more people said they were interested in getting more information through the boards. But now that they're up and people can see the execution on the boards, everyone is very much in favor. And I think our management team here did an incredible job of blending to the extent they could be blended and programming the boards in a way that make people comfortable with how that extra information is being delivered to them during the game. So we've got more information, we've got replays, and no one is saying we ruined Wrigley Field.
Has there ever been a time, do you have any regrets about anything in the construction project, anything that's being done to Wrigley Field at this point? And the reason we ask this is, like, if it's going to be part of the documentary, is we just don't, it can't be all, like, all great,
right.
in the story. So any problems, anything that you have regrets on that you would do differently?
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, there's been some tough moments. Opening day was pretty rough. Opening day 2015, when some of our bathroom facilities didn't deliver. That was it was just a tough night. I'm going to answer that question again.
Yep.
Well, I mean, no project of this size is ever going to go off without some hiccups. I mean, I'll always look back at opening day 2015 as one of the toughest days, for me at least, when you saw what the fans had to go through with respect to some of the washroom facilities. Some delays, obviously, also occurred this year, but some of them were out of our control. And ultimately, I don't think that it really had a big impact on the season or the fan experience. So, you know, I don't think 2015 went off without a hitch, but phase one generally was pretty successful.
Yeah, there's a month left in the season. What are your hopes for the rest of the year?
Well, we've got a month to go in the season. I think the team has established itself as a real playoff contender. I think that I think we have a lot of momentum going into the end of the season. But, you know, for me, it's really about just seeing a good young nucleus of talent start to form, start to play in important games, and really building that platform for a more consistent success in the future.
Right. Have your goals evolved since the year has started? Like, are you looking at things differently now as you were maybe when the season started?
In terms of,
you know, now that you're looking at this team that does look poised for a playoff run, do you allow yourself to kind of get away from what you would have wanted at the beginning of the year? Are you thinking bigger? I think it's only natural that somebody would think bigger and on a grander scale.
Well, you know, this has been I'll start over. I mean, 2015 has been a pretty special season. You know, toward the end of last year, Theo and the baseball organization basically came to us and said, I think 2015 could be a good year for us. rather than waiting for the future again. I think we can do some things that will help us in the present, and we'll see where it goes. And I don't think that anyone would have predicted that we would have had this kind of season, but everybody knew it was heading the right direction. So it's been a special season. It'll be a year that people look back on and hopefully see this as the real turning point from a team that was thinking about the future to a team that was competitive in the present.
So what's it like to really start to, when I know you were keeping people in the boat, but you and your family and everybody was making promises, but now you're delivering on them. Do you feel, how does it feel to kind of start delivering on those promises that you made? And not a, hey, I told you so, but more of a, a company-wide team achievement that you're delivering on these goals that you put forward.
Well, obviously, years ago, when we our very first press conference, we laid out our goals. And building a winning team and preserving and improving the ballpark, of course, our top two goals. This year, fans and everybody that comes to the park can see that we're delivering on both of those goals. I give an enormous amount of credit to Crane and the management team on everything that's been done with the park, and how the ballpark is really we're starting to deliver on some of the things we promised and get people comfortable with the fact that we are going to be an organization that delivers for its fans. And then, of course, goal number one is winning the World Series, and obviously, Theo and the guys on the baseball side have done an incredible job of changing that dialogue from a team that didn't have any prospects to a team that looks like it'll compete for years to come. So this has been a transitional year for everybody.
So this one is this one's going to be dovetail both documentary, but also if we do another recruitment video for Theo.
Yeah.
So a lot of improvements you're making regularly for the comfort of the players. Why is it so important to you in the franchise to do that?
Well, it's important to give the players a first-class experience, because you can't tell a player this is a first-class organization and give them a third-rate clubhouse. And you've seen throughout all levels of the organization, whether it's at first it was in Dominican, and then next in spring training, and now here at Wrigley, we're going to give our players the best possible facilities.
What's coming up in the offseason in terms of the clubhouse? What are you guys doing to the clubhouse this offseason?
Well, when players come back next year, they won't recognize the clubhouse, and hopefully they'll forget their current clubhouse experience. But we believe we'll have the best clubhouse in baseball, slightly smaller than the largest clubhouse in baseball, but we think with the best amenities and the best vibe. And I think that players are really going to appreciate it. And once again, it's about creating a first-class organization.
Perfect. It's good.
Is that it?